Hello everyone and welcome back to Meeple Leaf Reviews. I'm Jeffrey.
I am Jacob.
And we're doing a before and after today, which if you haven't seen one of our videos, we're going to explain for you right now.
Before and after is where we give you our expectations of a game before we've ever played it. We just learn the rules, that's it. Then we're going to go and play the game, and immediately after that, we're going to come back and tell you exactly what we thought.
So today, this is an older game.
Yeah.
Quite a hyped game back in its day.
Yeah.
Puerto Rico.
Number one, wasn't
it used to be number one. I think, is it still in the top 10?
I don't think so, maybe.
On Board Game Geek? So, I have not played this game. I've owned it for like 5 years.
Right.
But it's a
deluxe version.
Yeah, the anniversary limited edition. The problem with the game, why I never came to the table, because it required minimum 3 players.
Yes.
And a lot of times, if we were having 3 or more, we played something else, and most of my gaming is just done 2 players. So
yeah,
it took a long time to come to the table. But today, we're going to do it.
We're going to do it. We're going to get it done.
So because it is a game that is quite well received and, was highly ranked, there's a lot of kind of expectation going into this that this should be the cream of the crop.
Right.
Quite literally, because you are going to have crops in this
yes.
game.
Yes.
So yeah, what are your thoughts going in?
Well, like you said, this is a very hyped up game. Lots of people have said if this game came out today, it would do just as well as it did back then. So
right.
I'm excited about that to kind of atone to that, whether we feel like it's up to par or not.
Yeah.
At this stage, taking a glance at the rules, looking at the components and everything, I think, there's a lot going on, a lot of cool little mechanisms that I was like, oh, that's really neat. Yeah. That's really neat. It pulled me in as Jeffrey and I were kind of going through the rules. I felt like this is going to be a good game.
The one thing I will say about the rules and the mechanisms is it seems like such a clean system.
Yes. There's
no fiddliness. It's very clear. Every time you take a roll, this is what you do. Everyone else gets to do it.
Yeah.
And then you do that again. And there's only 6 different roles in a 3-player game. So it's not like there's a whole lot of variety or different things going on. So it's just going to be very clean. And from what I've heard from other people saying, is a lot of playing other people, knowing what roles they're going to take, timing different things.
Exactly.
We're going to be playing with all new players to the game.
And I'm happy about that.
Yeah, so we're not going to get upset, oh, why did you take that, or something like that.
And that's what I've heard, too, from a lot of other people, is they never want to play with anyone that's new at the game because there are certain actions that you're supposed to do if someone does something else.
Yeah.
None of us know what's going on in the game, so it's just going to clean slate.
Exactly. All right, anything else you wanted to mention?
I don't know. There's just so many just cool mechanisms that I'm kind of excited about. One was the colonists. The number of colonists after you take a certain action that are going to be coming in future rounds is the number of empty spaces. So the more that you're creating buildings and open spaces, the more colonists that are going to be available.
Right.
So I see lots of strategy in timing of when you're going to do things so that you're getting more out of the actions than your opponents are because of that cool follow mechanic, which I think back in the time when this came out was probably very innovative, and I really like lots of times in these games when someone takes the action that you wanted to do and you're just like, okay, well, now I'm screwed.
But you get to do this action.
Now everyone gets to do that, and that's cool, and that person that took that action is just getting a little bit of a bonus.
Right.
Very cool. I'm expecting a lot out of this game, actually.
I'm going in kind of middle of the road.
Okay.
Right now, with the expectations kind of being lifted up because it's a well-known, respected game. I'm not sure if they're going to live up to those expectations for me. Like, just reading the rules, like, if I had known nothing about this game, I'd been like, okay, it seems neat, but it doesn't seem like there's enough going on.
Okay.
Going into it for a first-time perspective.
Interesting.
So it'll be interesting to see after I played it for the first time if I'm like, oh, yeah, I could definitely see the depth and everything that's going on here after one play.
Interesting. For me, I definitely can see the depth right off the bat. I think there's a lot going on, and it's more going to be about playing your opponents and looking ahead than it is just playing through the mechanics and just kind of winging it.
Cool. Well, let's get a table, come back, and see what we think of Puerto Rico.
Let's do it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We just finished our first play of Puerto Rico. A little bit of history into our first play. We played 3 players. Yep. Like we said, all new players as well, and it took us 56 minutes.
Right.
So under an hour. Additionally, started recording how long it takes me to teach a game.
Right.
And it took 13 minutes to teach start to finish.
Right.
So pretty quick teaching as well.
And there was one player saying that he didn't teach the game well enough.
There's a few little rules that you can get hung up on. But once you see certain mechanisms and how they work, it's like, oh, that's how it works. Like the whole ship thing, how those are placed. You kind of got to see how that goes, I think, to get it fully grasped.
That's definitely the most complicated action is loading of the ships and how that happens.
Yeah. What did you think?
Overall, I would say that this definitely met my expectations. I think that this is a great game, and I can see why there was so much hype behind the game in the first place.
Yeah.
And to kind of go along with what we were saying about, whether it would be as good of a game at this stage, I think it would be as popular if it came out today.
And I was thinking something a little bit different, not so much based on the quality of the game, because the quality of the game isn't going to change. I think it still has the potential to be a great game. But the one thing I found is that after that first play, I could see how the game works, but I feel like I would need to play around with the game, like a few more plays to get a firm grasp on exactly what's happening, because it's a lot of looking at what your opponents have. What are they doing? What do I need to do? What shouldn't I do? Right now. Exactly. So I think to get the best value out of this game, you want to play it a whole bunch. Now, I don't think if this game came out today, it would be as popular, because I feel with the number of titles that are coming out in a year, people aren't playing games 5, 10, 20 times.
Right.
But when it came out, how many big name titles were out there? People really had this to play. And then they played a lot more, and then they saw the value that I think is in this game. So I still think the game is just as good now as what it was, but I don't know if it would be as big a hit if it came out today.
Yeah, Call to the New is definitely something that has struck our hobby, and there aren't those, evergreen games as we sometimes call them, where you play this game and you're just going to consistently play it over and over and over and over. If it came out today, there might not be that group of people that are going to latch onto the game due to that. So I understand it for sure.
I also saw with this game is all about player interaction and knowing what your other players are doing. Like that's what most of the game is, I feel. And I can definitely see how experienced people wouldn't want to play with new people. It's like, why are you doing that? You're helping out this person more than you're helping out yourself.
Right.
Like why are you doing that action? So I can definitely see that in this game.
There were several moments during the game where I was just like, hey, just don't take that action. Whatever you do, don't do that one, and we'll be good. Yeah. And then they went and took that action. I was like, no, why?
Well, and even for myself, I felt like I was like, oh, I want somebody to take this action before it comes around to me.
Yeah.
So you can feel it on both sides of, I don't want you to take that action because it helps out the other person. And then for yourself, you're like, oh, I want you to take that action. So then it makes my action that I'm planning on doing even better by the time it comes back around.
Yeah. Or just allows you the variability to do something else that you also want to get done.
Yeah.
But if you had to take that action and someone else did something completely different, then you're getting one less bonus action.
Well, and the order in which you take the actions is also very important, because you might want to take the mayor to get the colonists on the buildings. That makes the next action very good. So it's not beneficial for you to take the mayor yourself.
Right. You want someone else to do it for you.
You want someone else to do it, so then you can take the other action.
Yeah.
So, but then if they don't take the mayor, then you're like, well, do I even want to take that action now? Because I can't do it, or it's not as good. So it's all playing into who takes the roles, when they take it, and all that. That's, I think, where the game really shines, is in that player interaction there.
There were some fantastic moments. Another one was when you took a selling action, the captain action, to get rid of your goods, and you thought you were going to be blocking me out, but you didn't realize I had a storage house to save everything. You guys got rid of all your resources. I was next start player, and I just took the captain again immediately, and I was the only one to get victory points because I was the only one with resources left.
So ridiculous.
fantastic interaction.
Yeah, it's not like what people will call the multiplayer solitaire games. Even though you're building your own board, you very much have to be cognizant of what other people have,
right,
and what other people are able to produce and what they're able to ship and all this stuff as well.
Yeah. So talking about it makes me want to play it again right now. This is really good.
So yeah, I think this is a good game. I think I would need to play it a lot more to get the full value and see all the possibilities that are in this game.
Yeah, definitely. And then your anniversary edition also came with a bunch of expansion material. So adding variety to the game as well, because I could see how the game could get samey with, okay, these are the only buildings you have. Right. But you add in that extra content and varieties there.
Yeah,
too.
And just to mention, we played with no expansion material, just the base, the base game for our first game. Yeah. All right, well, that's Puerto Rico. Don't forget to go down, hit the like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We always love it when you guys do that.
We sure do. And in the description down below, you can also go to the link to our website where we have a podcast where we talk for hours on end about board games.
All right, see you guys next time.
Take care.